Hey guys, today I wanted to bring you an update to my unlimited power wizard build. Recently I played this build on stream for the Elder Rift race event and many of you were asking me about the build that I was using, so I'm going to be sharing it here. This is actually going to be version 4 of the build, so I've already made 3 versions in the past for this build and I'm so glad that people are enjoying this type of build, so I'm going to continue making them and updating them for the essences when they get added to the game. But if this is your first time watching, I'm going to have a quick summary of the build. So this is by far the highest PvE DPS build for the wizard and arguably for any class in Diablo Immortal. I came up with the name Unlimited Power because the build seemingly ignores any kind of skill cooldown and it plays as if you have unlimited mana. So in a nutshell, the playstyle is pretty simple. You want to be pressing your slow time and then just spamming your skills like crazy as fast as possible, and any demons that are standing in your way are going to get absolutely obliterated. So if you're not a fan of the spammy playstyle, then I probably would not recommend this type of build, and you can check out my non-spammy wizard builds. I'm going to have a link to that in the description. But with that said, I'm going to go over all of the changes I've made since my last version. So let's quickly start off with the skills. I haven't changed these up all too much. I'm still using Slow Time, Lightning Nova, Arcane Wind, and finally Disintegrate. For the primary attack, I'm using Electrocute, but this time around, we're not going to be pressing primary attack at all, so this doesn't really matter. And for the essence that I'm using now, let's quickly go over those. So the only real change that I've made here is to use Thunderbird's Bite, which gives you extra damage on Lightning Nova, and Lightning Nova is the skill that does the most damage, so this is a very, very good essence to use. Previously, I was using the Eye Plucker main hand with the Electrocute, and that would apply the shock, but now, because we have the Skybreaker's Bolt, this set is incredibly good, and it's going to be applying the shock for us, so we're no longer using the Eye Plucker here. As far as the other essence, I'm going to quickly go over them. So I'm still using the Terminus Facade. This is a key essence for this build, and if you don't have this essence, then unfortunately you won't be able to play the build, because this allows you to basically gain cooldown back every time you press one of your skills when slow time is active. For the chest essence, I'm using the Isolated Storm. This gives the most damage for Lightning Nova. If you don't have this, then you could use any of the other chest essence for Lightning Nova. One that a lot of people like to use is the Coat of Astrum, because this allows you to play the build at range. So with the Isolated Storm, you do have to be a bit closer at melee range to the monsters, but this allows you to do the maximum amount of damage, which is why I decided to use it. For the shoulders and pants, I'm using War Mage Mantle and Haste and Oblivion. These are both essence for Disintegrate and will allow you to reset your cooldown even faster, so I haven't changed these up. As far as the other essence, for Arcane Wind, I'm still using the Mistral Wren. For the offhand essence, I've kept this the same, so I'm using Blood of the Wind, which gives you 38% more damage for Arcane Wind when igniting a Firestorm. You're going to be able to ignite Firestorm because Arcane Wind is a wind skill, and the Rolling Consequence is going to be applying the burning effect. So that's what's going to apply this. So you can use Frenetic Spark or any other offhand of your choice. This isn't really a key part, it's just a nice increase to your damage. For the final offhand, I'm using the Trifling Piffle. This is a very, very nice offhand essence to have, and it's going to allow you to apply even more Lightning Novas when it hits a shocked enemy. And like I said, the shock this time is coming from the Skybreaker set. So in my opinion, the Skybreaker set is completely OP with this build, because you don't have to worry about pressing your primary attack at all. So this means that basically you can focus all of your effort in spamming your skills, and you won't have to worry about weaving in the primary attack, which was a bit of a challenge to do with the previous version of the build, since we're pressing our skills so fast, especially if you have high attack speed. Your primary attack wouldn't really go off. So I'm using 2 pieces of the Skybreaker's Bolt here, I'm using 2 pieces of Vithu's Urges, and finally I'm using 4 pieces of the Grace of the Flagellant. So the set pieces that are going to work best for you are going to depend entirely on the Eternal Attributes that you have. For the Eternal Attributes that I'm using, I've decided to go for 4 pieces of Lightning Nova. This is the best one in my opinion. So this gives you 8% per stack that you have. So at 4 stacks, you're going to get 32% attack speed. And like I said in my previous video, this does not stack with the 4 pieces of Vithus. So the game actually takes the higher value from the 2. So if you have 32 from here, then it's kind of redundant to get the 30% from the Vithu's Urges. So if you don't have 4 pieces of this, let's say you have 1 or 2 or 3, then I would actually recommend you to still use the 4 pieces of Vithu's Urges, and then in that case, the other 4 pieces that you would use would be the Skybreaker's Bolt. So 4 pieces Vithu's Urges and 4 pieces Skybreaker's Bolt if you don't have the Lightning Nova. The other really important thing with this build is you want to maintain 100% uptime of the slow time buff. So as you can see here, when I press my slow time, when it's about to expire, I will be able to reapply it again just before it expires. And this is really important because if the slow time ever goes down, you won't be able to keep spamming your skills non-stop. So it's really important to have this. So having 2 pieces of Vithu's Urges is kind of a must to be able to maintain this. If you don't have high beneficial effect or high cooldown, then I would actually recommend you to go for another Eternal attribute, which is this one here. So slow time effects remain on an enemy for 1.5 seconds. Even having just 1 piece here, which you can easily get on the Pants Essence, since we're not really using any special pants here, just having 1 piece of it will be more than enough for you to maintain 100% uptime. Moving on now to the legendary gems that I'm using. So I've made a few changes here. For the 5-star gems, I'm using Bloodsoaked Jade, I'm using Colossus Engine, I'm using Roiling Consequence, which is a must for this build, and finally I'm using the new gem, which is Bloodflow. This gem is incredibly good, and I was lucky enough to get this to rank 5, and even at rank 5, 2 out of 5 stars, this gem is a powerhouse, and in my opinion it's S tier, along with the Bloodsoaked Jade at Colossus Engine, and also the Roiling Consequence. So this gem gives you increased damage done, increased critical hit damage, and it also gives you a bleed effect, and in case that wasn't enough, for every bleeding enemy, you're going to gain extra critical hit chance, just like how Roiling Consequence gives you extra critical hit chance for burning enemies. This one gives you for bleeding enemies. So this is a very good gem to have if you have it ranked up. If you don't have it, then I wouldn't worry too much about it. You could replace it with some of the other replacements that I'm going to suggest. For the 2-star gems that I decided on using, I went for Grim Rhythm, which is going to give us attack speed, and also the other Battle Pass gem, which is the Fervent Fang, and this gives us 2% damage per stack, up to 10 stacks, so 20% damage. This is only at rank 9. I think this goes up to 24%, and it also gives you elite and boss damage, very good for PvE. So in case you're a new player and don't know how to get these gems, you can get these gems from the Battle Pass, so you can get them as a reward here, which is the 2-star Legendary Gem Selection Chest. You can't get these as a drop or craft them, you have to get them from this chest here. So you can get this at level 1 reward. I think you can also get it at level 20, I believe, and also at level 40, which is the max rank of the Battle Pass. If we scroll all the way here, you can get this up here, just without paying for the Battle Pass, and also you can get it down here. Another way you can get it is if you pay for the more expensive Battle Pass. You can get them from the Battle Archive shop, which is down here in the bottom left, and you can get 5 of them per month. I usually don't buy this, so that's why I'm very slow to upgrade these gems here. But other than that, you can also get them from the Boon of Plenty. But moving on now to the final gems that I'm using, I've gone for 1-star gems. So Entropic Well, this is still a very good gem for this setup. It's going to give you skill damage, and it's going to give you skill attack speed. Attack speed is very, very important for this build, so I've got it on Grim Rhythm and also on the Entropic Well here. But I will be going over some other gems which you can use if you don't have these. For the last gem here, I'm using the new 1-star gem, which is Surging Sea. In my opinion, this gem was made for a build like this. So this gives you 2.4% damage per stack for 3 seconds, stacked up to 10 times. So 24% increased skill damage, which is absolutely bonkers. And it gives you skill cooldown reduced by 2%. Which is very nice to have. So this gem is kind of a hidden MVP for this build, and if you do have it, then I would definitely recommend using it. As far as the other gems that you could use if you don't have any of these, so for the free-to-play or low-spender tier, I would definitely recommend Berserker's Eye. This is just a very good all-round gem for PvE. Other than that, you could also go for the Spectre Glass if you have this ranked up. 2-star gem, very, very solid choice. Another one that's very solid is also the Pain Clasp. If you're a higher spender, then the 5-star gems that I would recommend if you have them ranked up high would be the Void Spark. This gives you increased attack speed, which is very nice. Other than that, a gem which is very similar is also Wolf Heart. This also gives you attack speed, and it also gives you an effect which is similar to the 4 pieces of the Grace of the Flagellant. So this gem is also very strong. And then for the last 5-star gem, Bottled Hope is also very good. It's going to give you increased damage when you apply a buff. And in this case, the buff is going to be slow time. Honestly, I would say the only real must-have gems in this setup would be the Bottled Hope, just to have the 10% movement speed, because the slow time effect is going to give you 20% per stack, and this stacks up to 3 times. So if you take a look at the skills here, you can see This is going to stack up to 60%, so you want to be at the 70% maximum movement speed, so either go for the Bloodsoaked Jade, or you can get movement speed rolls on your gear. I like to have the Bloodsoaked Jade. The only other must-have gem would be the Rolling Consequence, just so you can apply the Firestorm. This is going to make your damage go absolutely crazy. So other than that, I would go for any other gems you have. Just go for something optimal from the gems that I recommended here. Let's move on now to talk about the Paragon tree. I haven't changed this up all too much. I'm still using the Slinger tree setup, which looks like this. For the legendary skill, I did actually change this. So in my previous version, I was using the Overloaded, which is a very good legendary skill. But since we're not going to be pressing primary attack at all here, the primary attack speed is kind of useless. So I went for the Death's Release, which gives you a continual damage effect resolve for the Rolling Consequence and also for the Blood Flow. Last few things here before we get into the gameplay. So for the cursed properties, I've gone for 6 pieces of Detested and 2 pieces of Atrophied. And then for the Reforges, I haven't changed this up. I've gone for the same thing. So critical hit damage, duration beneficial effects, attack speed, damage to demons, and damage to enemies suffering loss of control. Unfortunately, because we're not going to be using primary attack, the Vengeance set is kind of useless here, so you could honestly switch up any of these for like elite damage, or let's say skill damage would also be very good. The only one which I would say is kind of a must is the duration of beneficial effects. This is incredibly powerful, and I would not recommend switching this one out. As far as the magical attributes that I'm using, so the most important one is the critical hit chance. This is definitely what you want to get. 4% on the helmet, the main hand, and the offhands, and also on the shoulders here. I've got it. And the other one is the Lightning Nova, attack speed 8%. This is very good to have. I've got this on the helmet and the offhands, both of them, and also on the chest piece here. So this is what you want to go for. So other than that, my magic attributes aren't really that impressive. For most of these pieces here, I've already got 2 stats, which are useful. So for the shoulders, I've got critical hit chance and skill damage. You could also go for the critical hit damage or the skill damage here. For the main hands, I've got critical hit chance and attack speed. You also want to go for critical hit damage, skill damage, or enemy suffering loss of control. You can get up to 10% damage here, which is very strong. My other one has critical hit damage, critical hit chance. And then for the offhands, I've already got critical hit chance here, but it's more of the same here. The only piece which is very good here, you can see I've got 3 stats. I've got critical hit chance, damage to enemies suffering loss of control, and Lightning Nova. This is kind of the gold standard that you want to aim for these pieces. Other than that, for the chest and the pants, the only useful stat besides the Lightning Nova is the beneficial effect duration, so that's what you want to go for here. For the set pieces, you want to go for skill cooldown. You can get this on the amulet, the gloves, and also the rings. So I've got 3 or 4% rolled here. Other than that, for the gloves, you want to go for damage to enemies suffering loss of control. You could also go for something like the 8% increased damage to demons. If you're optimizing for PvE, then that's the one you want to go for. Other than that, for the rings, I've got damage increase to enemies below 30% life, but this is not really a must-have. It's just if you have any extra stats. Besides this, for the belt and the boots, I'm using beneficial effect duration. This is the only useful stat for these 2 slots. And then for the bracelet slots, they don't really have any good stats, so you can go for anything you'd like here. To end the video, let's take the build for a spin. So this is going to be Temple of Normari Inferno 8 Challenge Dungeon, and I'm going to be trying to run this solo. So hopefully we don't get one of the bad modifiers. So we got Chains and Conjurer, which aren't too bad. So the only real bad one is the Sacrificial Power. If you've played Wizard before, then you'll know that one really sucks, because every time you press one of your skills, you lose health. And when you're spamming this crazy, you're going to lose health pretty quickly. So if you do get that modifier, then I would definitely recommend that you focus on pressing your primary attack then, because that's not going to make you lose any health, and then you should only focus on pressing Lightning Nova, maybe a few Disintegrates just to get the armor break effect, but you want to mainly focus on picking up the health globes just to make sure you don't die. But as you can see here, this build is absolutely dominating. I'm melting through the mobs super quickly, and the great thing is that the build is now easy to play since we're no longer having to focus on primary attack. So for mobile players, I think they'll be pretty happy with this change, because it is very challenging on mobile to actually press your skills and also press the primary attack at the same time. So you can see that right now I'm just having no problems at all, and I'm applying shock now with the SKYBREAKER set, which you'll be able to see in the left side here. So if you take a look, there is this lightning bolt here, which is the SKYBREAKER set. And no longer we have to rely on the eye plucker with the electrocute. this is going to have even higher uptime, and it's going to be even more reliable. So let's see how this build does on single target here. As you can see, I'm actually being very, very close in melee range with these bosses here, just because I want to get the maximum amount of damage from my Lightning Novas. So this is a bit risky, because obviously with a Wizard, you are a lot squishier. So I am moving around, especially with these bosses here, because the AoE is pretty devastating. As you can see there, they did manage to kill me, but one death is not too bad in challenge dungeons, especially because I'm playing solo, and they're summoning a bunch of these conjurer effects, which are very annoying. So always when I'm playing Wizard, I like to have one finger on the health potion, just in case I do need to heal up last minute. But let's just see how this goes with the last two bosses here. So when it's a boss like this, it's very easy to be able to burst it down there. As you can see, I'm doing excellent damage. And I will have a snapshot of the build from the armory on the screen now. So if you do want to pause the video and take a look at it at your own time, you can do so. But let's just see with Sargoth here. He's spawning a bunch of his clones, but this is still no challenge, and I'm able to kill him very quickly there. Or did I kill one of his clones? Okay, I killed one of his clones, but there we go. I did actually manage to kill him. Let's see if we get a green set here. So, as you can see, I did 1.45 damage all by myself in this dungeon. So, this is a very, very fun build. And if you're already familiar with my previous versions of the build, then I definitely recommend you to update this setup, because the SKYBREAKER set is an absolute beast for this build, and it works very, very well. That's everything that I want to share in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed the video, then please do consider subscribing to my channel and liking the video. As always, if you have any questions, then please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.